What's good, YouTube? It's Stormy B-Man, and I'm back with another pre-fight video breakdown. Before we get started, I'd like to say shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den boxing community, and Liberated Perspective, a third eye view of the world. For more content such as this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Coming up this Friday, July 9th, broadcast live on DAZN, we're going to see a fight that would be a possible candidate for Fight of the Year, as we see Gilberto Ramirez taking on Sullivan Barrera in a fight that will be scheduled for 12 rounds live on DAZN. This, people, will be a battle of guts and nuts. The typical, we're going to show you how strong we are type battle that you love to see as a TV fight. A throwback, if you will, as Ramirez, the Mexican, is taking on Barrera, the Cuban. That's right. Racial pride and divide is on the line as we watch this spectacle. Ever since his majority decision victory over Jesse Hart in December of 2018, Gilberto Ramirez has been touted as a guy at the light heavyweight division to watch for. But the thing is, he hasn't been that active. The light heavyweight is definitely a formidable fighter and has plenty to offer when he gets into the ring. He's aggressive, has decent punching power at the light heavyweight division, and is the type of fighter who pressures and wears you down with voluminous punching. Barrera, on the other hand, is his mirror opposite. He also has a June 2019 loss by unanimous decision to common opponent Jesse Hart. But that's the only place that the similarities and differences can be made here between the two. These two men complement one another with their styles. They both stand 6'2", and only 2 inches separate them in reach, with Ramirez having the advantage there. Also, Barrera has been stopped by Dimitri Bivol, and he lost a unanimous decision to Andre Ward in 2016. But that experience is invaluable because those were top-notch fighters that he faced at a time in his career that really shows that he was competing at the highest of levels, more so than Ramirez. That could also be a determining factor in who wins this fight if Barrera is able to utilize that experience to his advantage. The one thing that is questionable about Barrera, like most of the Cuban fighters, is we don't know exactly how old he is. In the boxing records, his age is unlisted. But you know, the Cubans, you can always give or take 5 years on their career easily. But again, as we talk about these two, Ramirez enters the bout 41-0 with 27 KOs. And as I said, he hasn't been as active as he could be as of late, but he could be very much up for this fight, because this is the fight that could determine what his next move will be against one of the other world champions. He is the kind of fighter that once the going gets tough, he hunkers down, he shows grit, he has a decent chin, and like I stated earlier, decent power in both hands. He is not going to let up. I don't think he's going to take a backward step. He has a tremendous amount of pride in himself, his people, and the style in which he fights behind. He's had a number of fights against a lot of unlisted opponents, which makes it a little difficult to really know exactly where he is when it comes to top flight fighters. But Barrera is the type of fighter, though he's not necessarily top flight, he's had the experience of being in there with top flight. Stated earlier, the fight against Jesse Hart told us a lot because he was able to defeat Hart, but that was for the super middleweight title. These men are now campaigning at light heavy, and we will see how they carry that weight. Ramirez is definitely a tough customer, and he will never be an easy out for anyone. Barrera, on the other hand, offers something totally different. As I said before, you cannot take away that ring experience and what he's had with success as well as his defeats. Sometimes you can learn from defeat and you can get better. Sometimes just being in there with someone who can show you what class is, as in the case of being in with Andre Ward, it can show you where you are in the sport and let people know what you're capable of doing. Barrera is coming into this fight with the determination, and he's had victories over decent opponents. I mean, take his January of 2015 victory over Jeff Lacey, and then he's also had his July of 2017 victory over Joe Smith Jr. This let him know that he belonged, and that's also something that he can carry on his back. The loss to Bivol was stopping a lot of guys and was extremely strong, and people didn't have a lot on him at the time that he faced him in 2018. But he learned from that, came back and had some success, and is now on his way toward challenging Ramirez. He comes into this fight with his record of 22-3, 14 KOs. Barrera is not the type of guy that's gonna bang you out with big punches, but he's very strong. He has heavy hands. He can cut you, he can beat you up, he can make you have facial damage with his heaviness of his hands. But one punch knockout, no. And there have been occasions when he's been dropped, being off balance and things of that nature. But this is the type of fight where both guys, they could end up on the canvas. Look for a very high-spirited match between these two guys. Competitive juices will be flowing, and like I said before, national pride. If we still had Tuesday night fights on television, this would definitely be a feature on a Tuesday night fight card. I could just hear Sean O'Grady and Al Albert talking about these fights right now. This is the type of fight that I used to see in the early 90s on television all the time. And kudos to these men for stepping up to face one another. A matchmaker's dream, this bout is. Being on DAZN, there may be a lot of guys who don't catch this fight, but I'm gonna tell you something. Even if you have to stream it, you may want to check this fight out. I guarantee it's gonna be entertaining. The only exception is like I said, the age of Barrera may be a factor here. We just don't know how old he really is, and because of his amateur experience, if he is older than what they're saying, the clock could be ticking on him as he ages. Because fighters, when they approach 40 years old in boxing, they could slip over the end quickly, or it could be something gradual. And we just don't know at this time what it may be when it comes to Barrera. Of the two, I would say that Ramirez has the better boxing skills technical wise, but he's not really a boxer, he's a banger. Barrera has some boxing ability, and he should have been able to take from his losses how to be more safe in there and to box his way through circumstances. But once the fists start flying, pride gets in the way, and then you begin to see a total different thing from a fighter. So there's no guarantee he's going to try to box Ramirez. I look for it to be a very competitive fight, both men giving as well as they got. I'm hoping that Barrera is able to step up and take it to another level just for sheer competitiveness. But I am expecting Gilberto Ramirez to draw him into some type of firefight where he will have advantages. What will those things be? Intestinal fortitude between the two is going to be a huge factor here. And the fresher Ramirez may have a little bit more in the tank, and that's where he'll be favored. Barrera, on the other hand, if he can take this fight deep and try to come on later, he could have some advantages himself, especially since Ramirez has been so inactive. Good fight here, people, I'm telling you. But I see at the end of the day, Gilberto Ramirez hands being raised in victory, and Sullivan Barrera a little bit dejected, maybe stopped on his stool, or a late round TKO stoppage, maybe even his corner throwing in the towel from the damage that he sustained in this fight. I'm looking at Gilberto Ramirez as the victor in here. I hope that I'm wrong, because I just don't want to be right when a good fight is on the line such as this. Leave comments, let me know what you think. This is Stormy B-Man. That's all I have for you at this time. Check out that fight this week and let me know how you enjoyed it. Until the next time we speak, peace. Everyone remain safe. See you soon.